Developing today, Republican Senator Rand Paul now saying he will vote to block President Trump's emergency declaration. That now makes 4 members of the president's own party in the Senate vowing to go against Trump's move to fulfill his biggest campaign promise, building the wall along the southern border. This means the resolution of disapproval will most likely make it to the president's desk, where he has warned he will use his first presidential veto. Let's check in with CNN's White House correspondent Boris Sanchez. And as we were saying, 4 is the magic number that the Republican senators needed to pass this resolution. And it looks like we've reached that, Boris.
That's right, Amara. We did have an indication that this might happen. After all, Republicans, both privately and publicly, had been warning President Trump about issuing this national emergency declaration, saying that it could potentially splinter the party. And now you have Rand Paul speaking to a group of Republicans last night in Kentucky, saying that he would oppose this measure by President Trump because he didn't want to give the president what he called unconstitutional powers. He joins these 3 other Republican lawmakers, and Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Tom Tillis. Here's more of what Rand Paul told supporters. He said, quote, "I can't vote to give the president the power to spend money that has not been appropriated by Congress. We may want more money for border security, but Congress did not authorize it. If we take away those checks and balances, it is a dangerous thing." So Rand Paul essentially citing the potential precedent that it could set for a future Democratic administration to then declare a national emergency on an issue that Republicans oppose. President Trump has made clear that if this resolution does reach his desk, he would veto it. Listen to this.
Will I veto it? 100%. 100%. And I don't think it survives a veto. We have too many smart people that want border security, so I can't imagine it could survive a veto, but I will veto it, yes.
So this move is largely symbolic because we don't believe that there are enough votes in the Senate specifically to overcome the president's veto. It's unclear at this point when the Senate may vote on it. They had 18 days from when the House passed it, which was on Tuesday, so that gives them about 2 weeks to hold a vote on this, Amara.
But clearly this would be an extraordinary rebuke of President Trump and using his emergency powers. But just to be clear, this is not about partisanship or being against the wall or border security. Republicans, these 4 Republicans, are backing this bill to say there is a separation of powers as outlined in the Constitution, and we take it seriously. We hope you do.
Yeah, exactly. And part of their fear is that, let's say in 2020 or 2024, whenever President Trump leaves office and a Democratic administration comes in, they could then cite this as precedent to go ahead and declare a national emergency on any number of issues, whether it be gun control or other things that Democrats are in favor of, that then Republicans would almost be powerless, depending on the situation in Congress, to oppose. So in this case, Republicans are trying to step in. We know that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was actually here at the White House just about a month ago, according to sources, trying to warn the president not to do this. Of course, the president decided that he was going to move forward. In his words yesterday, speaking to CPAC, he was looking for a loophole to get around all the loopholes in Congress to get funding for his border wall. Amara.
How big of a blow is this for the president? Because in the end, he will still be able to get the funding for his wall since he has the veto power and the Senate cannot overcome that veto.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. I think everybody would, making the political calculation now, would believe that the Senate probably doesn't have, that the Democrats plus the handful of Republicans aren't enough to overcome a presidential veto. I would only caution that, politics can shift pretty quickly in this town, and it's possible that something could happen between now and the time that a veto would take place that could change the dynamics. But I think, look, what is undeniable is that members of the president's own party are deeply, deeply uncomfortable with this idea because of what was mentioned in the report earlier, which is the precedent that it could set. The next time there's a Democratic president, this lays the groundwork for a pretty dramatic expansion of the idea of presidential power. Can you use a national emergency just in very narrow cases to do very narrow things? Or can you, as the president is trying to do, use a national emergency to basically get what you want, even when Congress has specifically acted in a contrary way. And there's a lot of Republicans, more than just those 4 that have been identified, who are uncomfortable with that. And so they're not ready right now to oppose the president, but that is there in the Congress. Yeah,
including the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, right, who pleaded to the president, please don't do this, but ended up siding with the president so he could avoid a shutdown. We're going to have to leave it there. Michael Shear and Areva Martin, thank you both very much.